All right, everybody, here we go again, the Metal Block, episode number 33. We are so excited. We've, been on this interview run lately, and it seems to be the thing that we really enjoy doing, and we're going to keep it going. So, before we get started in introducing our special guest, everybody go check out the social medias. We got Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok. Go look at them and shoot us some information. You can also send us an email at metalblocktalks@gmail.com and let us know what you want to hear, what you want us to talk about. Give us some ideas, what you don't like. We'll take any kind of feedback we can get. So, love to hear from you. And here we go, on with the episode. We have Matt Day with us today. And Matt, say hi to everybody.
What's up? How's it going?
So, for those of you who do not know, Matt is the El Basaruni for a great metal band out of the Houston area right now, Stabbing. And I know he's also got other projects, Architectural Genocide. And we're really just excited to get a chance to hear what he has to say. So, before I pass it off, we're going to do a little icebreaker. And we're all going to talk about who we're going to vote for in the upcoming election and why.
Yeah. I thought you were serious for a second. I was like, oh shit, man.
Absolutely not. That is not happening tonight.
Let's get into it.
That's what I get for saying nothing's off the table.
Oh, no, actually what's funny is I just thought that, that would just be funny. So that's what's funny. So anyways, Matt, we're so happy to have you, man. We're so happy to have you with us. And, I'm just going to pass it off to these guys, and I'm going to let them start asking some questions. And I tend to jump in. So, just like Brandon said, he's going to jump in, man. I do the same thing, except sometimes I'm like, hold on, back up. And anyways, we like to have a lot of fun, though. So tell us all you want everybody to know, and hopefully out of this is one thing I always say, people walk away, they listen to this episode, and they can walk away and maybe go check out something new. Maybe listen to something that they hadn't heard before, maybe learn a little bit more about a band that they are currently following, and, just to hear some new info about somebody else who's into music, and more importantly, some heavy metal. So, all right, guys, it's all yours.
All right, cool. I guess I'll take it. Brandon, I'll toss the mic back to you. Ask some questions probably about halfway through. But what's up, man? Matt, let's hear where you're from.
Born and raised Houston, Texas. Still living here. Left a few times, but always find my way back.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question was, how was the scene growing up in the metal scene? We're down in Houston.
Well, a little bit older, so I turned 40 back in July. So
I'm 39.
I feel like the metal scene in Houston has gone through a lot of changes over the years, but it's always been a rich environment. Some of the most talented musicians I've ever known have come out of this city. We've got some great foundations, but I also have an older brother, so I was fortunate enough. My first concert I ever went to was a local concert. There was a band Lower, band called Throw that some my brother's friends in the neighborhood were in back in the day, kind of new metalish stuff in like the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. That was a big movement here. That was sick. But like my first official like mainstream concert, 1998, I believe it was, at the International Ballroom. Went and saw Misfits and Guar, and that was the concert that kind of changed my life and really opened up me. The musical experience back then was totally different than it is today, right? Like I love telling the story of my first show, because it was like, you couldn't look up anything on the internet, right? Like there wasn't, not running the computer, you're not buying tickets. So it's, I was 14 at the time. I had to save up lunch money for a couple weeks at school to sneak out and be able to go buy tickets, skipping school one Friday. And then, how do you get to the fucking venue, right? We don't know. So you got to go to the cool kids table and ask directions to the International Ballroom, get it hand drawn on a napkin, And then my buddy Chris Blair sneaks out of the house, steals mom's car, picks us all up. We drive to the International Ballroom. No cell phones. No, you get out, you wait in line, you talk to people, and you lose your friends. Right? That's the biggest experience. You didn't see them the rest of the night. You get lost in the crowd, crowd surfing. Everything's a mosh pit. The Eyeball was like an old grocery store that they had gutted and just put a stage against the back wall, and they're like, this is a venue. So I mean, there's poles all over the place, and it was sick. And then at the end of the night, you meet at the car, and everybody's got an experience to tell each other on the ride home, And for me, that was just like the first time I ever experienced that. I was like, holy fuck, this is what I want to do. Like this, I want to be part of this, whether it's a fan level, playing level. At that time, I'd already started gigging in a band. One of the reasons we were at Misfits is because I just got a bass, was playing some punk music with some friends, and which is the foundation for my playing, right? Early punk was just my thing. It was my jam.
What that same absolutely. What year was that Misfit Squash show?
1998, I believe.
Okay,
it was 97 or 98 for sure.
I saw him. I think it was 96. I was 12 years old, I was in sixth grade. I know that, but one of my buddy's moms was willing to drive us to the Oklahoma City, from Tulsa to go see him, and that shit changed my life. Like, it absolutely changed my life, hands down. Yeah. And I was big into the Misfits, but the punk scene, and like Tulsa had like a nasty crust scene that I had a couple friends with older brothers and sisters that were in it that I was seeing and involved in some shit I should not have been, at that age. But like you said, it's like the punk foundation, man. Absolutely.
That's how it goes.
Sick. I was going to ask, that kind of segues into the next thing. How'd you get into playing metal?
Playing metal was just kind of came naturally, the natural progression of things, right? Like being this age, and I know you and Brandon, not sure about the Zoomy, but I guess y'all all grew up together, so you had to be the same age, right?
I'm 41, man.
41,
gotcha.
So you win,
boom,
dude.
Boom,
yeah,
boom.
Fuck yeah. You're the old man.
Yes, I have to pay for dinner if we all go out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, fuck yeah. But like
we should go out more.
Hell yeah. We got to experience the different movements as they came, right? Coming out of hair metal into alternative metal and grunge, right? In the 90s, like we were there for that. We remember when those records came out, like when before, and to get into the metal, like new metal, Slipknot, right? When they first came out, like that was, remember a time, before they existed.
Yeah.
And here it is, boom. And you weren't hearing about this shit on the internet. Like everybody wasn't talking about it. There wasn't message boards and social media and everybody just talking about stuff. Your buddy literally would show up with a CD or a cassette and be like, "Hey man, here it is." So I went through the whole gamut of genres of metal, getting into the brutal shit I'm into now and play now. But my first taste of it was definitely some older brother had this cassette tape, and on one side of it, I was really into hip hop. I was listening to a lot of hip hop in junior high, and my brother had this cassette tape. One side, Pantera, Cowboys from Hell, and on the other side, Acid Bath When the Kite String Pops. And so it was I get into Pantera and I'm playing it and it's just dubbed on the tape, right? So we're talking shitty recording, not purchased at the time, bootleg as fuck. But yeah, just played Cowboys from Hell till the wheels fell off, and then was like, I wonder what's on the other side of this tape. Had some friends over, and they're like, Acid Bath, what's that? And we put that on, and from that opening, just doom, 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 on that fucking record, that sludge, just groove. It was like, and then Dax comes in with the vocals. It was like, holy shit, this is different. The Panteras, I don't want to call it speed metal, right? But it was thrashy, it was fast, it was. So then you hear that groove come in, you get the best of both worlds, and then it was just like off to the races from there. Then I just wanted to hear more. Then kind of, I remember when Soulfly's first record came out, that was a big one. And then slid, like I said, early 2000s metalcore was big, influenced onto some stuff too. But all of that said, like running through the gamut of genres, the first time I saw brutal shit was Cannibal Corpse's cameo in Ace Ventura. When he walks into the room, and it was like,
oh yeah,
what's that? But I just don't think, like, at the time wasn't ready to digest something that heavy yet, and circled back to it years later, and just it was really the Josta years of bringing Headbangers Ball back, and the they had a wide scope of metal on that and sick ass videos.
Dude, absolutely. I remember
the
watching
Cannibals
that
of
when Josh brought
Viscerace
that
and
back.
Plague. Yeah, it was sick. It was sick.
I remember actually, I think I saw like, I think it was Funeral Thirst on that. You know, like that was when, I mean, they were brand new, just signed to Metal Blade, you know, and they ended up hearing about the Black Dahlia murder, and they were playing Oklahoma City, and the next morning after that, they played at 9 a.m. at Ozfest in Dallas, and I went and hit them both, ended up partying with Trevor and Brian all night. And yeah, good memories, man. Good fucking memories.
That's Dahlia was and is still one of my personal favorite bands. I mean, every record cover to cover, love them. Bart was a big influence on my playing and some of my techniques that I stole watching some of his videos, especially when he on the what's the video where he's got the broken wrist and he's playing and
what is it called? Not Fool 'Em All.
Ozma time.
No.
Not Fool 'Em All. Before that, way before that. Anyway, their first DVD, you can find it. I've got it. I'll pull it out, but yeah,
same.
That's a big influence on me. That band, that style. Nocturnal is where I started, and then I went back and checked out the other shit. But saw them multiple times in my life. But one memorable time was at the Meridian. Big stage at the Meridian, which is a venue I miss dearly in the city. All the good venues are pretty much gone. All the good old school underground venues. Yeah. We had a lot of really cool shit. You know, Fitzgerald's was a big one. Walters on Washington was a big one. Zelda's was a big one. We had Cardi's for a while too. It's the Axiom, and Meridian. They're all gone. And Engine Room, like it's crazy. Fitzgerald's is a fucking parking lot now. That makes me so sad.
They all just closed down for different reasons.
Sounds familiar. Where was the Engine Room? When did that one go out? That sounds familiar.
Engine Room was down off of Peace Street, right next to Continental Club. Continental Club's still there.
Okay. I moved here in 2016, so I missed a lot of those.
I think it was probably gone. Maybe barely hanging on by then, but probably still gone. Yeah, those by 2016. I mean, pretty much. Well, yeah. Pretty much everything was already almost done for by then. Fitz was still around, but barely. It just sucks, you know, all the historic venues you grew up seeing all the best shows in, they're fucking gone.
Yeah, that's kind of how Tulsa is. We've got, Kane's Ballroom and the rest of it's all fucking dead that I grew up going to.
What's funny is there used to be a lot of metal shows at the American Legion in Norman, and it was just the other day I was like on the phone with Brandon, and I was like, guess where wasn't it you, Brandon? I was like, guess where I'm driving by? And I forgot what you guessed. It was a good guess. But anyway, I was like, no, the American Legion, and we went to shows there all the time. And it's still the American Legion, but they stopped allowing us to have shows there. And, yeah. So anyways, I know what you're saying.
Goes.
Yeah, it's just, memories, though, of some of those old venues, like you were saying. And you think, like, man, we had so many good times. I listened to so many good bands. And those are the times that you paid, like, $3 to get into a show. And
oh, yeah.
There was the stage was just a little step up from even the floor level, and dudes were just rocking out, and you were right there with the musicians. And guys, even today, you look back at and you're like, I remember going and seeing them at a Little American Legion show, or like you said, Greg, whenever we saw Necrophagus, out there in Tulsa.
In Tulsa,
yeah, at that venue that you said isn't there anymore.
Yeah, and there was a spot called the Pink Eye. They're like literally, like all shall perish. Like you fucking name it, they came through. Like everybody, Animosity. It was like everybody came through that little thing, and just like you said, they were on a 1 foot tall stage right in your face. It was some of the most intimate, amazing shows in my life. Yep. But yeah, it's I think it's a restaurant now or some shit. But whatever,
sucks.
Womp womp womp. What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So I know you said Trevor, or no, you said Bart from Black Dahlia, but who are some other influences of yours?
Man, so when I first started playing bass, Matt Freeman, Rancid was a big one.
Oh yeah.
I used to watch close in the music videos, and he used to, few times would play with a pick, but also these three fingers, and I always thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, being punk influenced, it was definitely him. Lemmy, I've got on my door back there, massive influence.
Yes,
like
I was going to make a Lemmy comment, by the way. I was going to. I saw him back there.
Yeah, Motorhead was big. And then Alex Webster, of course, Cannibal Corpse is a massive bass influence. But also in the non-brutal areas, like in non-metal even, like Victor Wooten. I love a lot of his stuff. Ryan Martini from Mudvayne too, but not just mine. He's also post Mudvayne was in a band called Soften the Glare. That's kind of like, I don't want to call it jazz fusion, but it's not. It's just bass, very bass driven. Good. And then guys like Evan Brewer too.
Yeah, he's sick.
There's so much talent out there today. It's ridiculous. I'm always finding somebody new. And even people that are non-mainstream. There's a guy I'm friends with on Facebook, Rick James. And yeah, his name is part of his tag is like, yes, my name is Rick James. But he's a shredder, man. He's so fucking good. And found him during COVID, just like cruising the internet. And that's how I met guys like Joe Mortimer over in the UK, sick ass fucking bass player. Yeah, just a lot of talent out there. So I'm always looking and trying to find new influences and taking elements away from every player I see, whether it's somebody who's a big name and has a big following or local bands playing. And there's a local band in town, Snag. This dude Marshall, he's one of my absolute favorite bass players to watch play. The dude built his own bass, and he's just a fucking savage, man. And I love his style, and I take a lot away when I go watch that dude play. So it's like, I'm just always watching.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Always learning. That's the best way to be.
Hell yeah. I'm always trying to find a new technique. Because I definitely don't play correctly. I can tell you that. When people ask me what my technique is, I'm like, don't.
Yeah,
it's not. Don't do what I do. It's not right.
You're exposed to a shitload of badass bass players, a lot more than the average person. So it's obvious you'd want to take that in instead of reject it. Why would you act like you can't get better?
Exactly. If you're not striving to get better, you're definitely doing something wrong.
I can't hear you.
I think
You're muted.
Oh, my bad. Well, I was going to say, I unmuted. Must have double clicked.
It's like, I'm high, but not that high.
Double click it super quick.
I was going to say the music community, we always say the metal community is real tight, and it is. But just the music community in general, are always real supportive of one another, you find. And you always get opportunities to just learn from each other. And people just always seem so willing. This isn't, like magic tricks where people aren't going to show you their trick. It's like people seem to be like excited to share what they've learned. And, if you can take something from it and kind of work it into your own bag of tricks, man, I think it's gold. And I think that's how these styles that everybody talks about are the right style. I think that's how they came about. They were just a mixed bag of tricks, too.
Oh, for sure, man. And that's like we just played. I actually just played Texas Domination Fest with the first installment of it, which previously was done by Miguel Medina. He did Chicago Domination Fest and then moved to Texas. So 7 or 8, I think, Chicago Domination Fests, and then moved to Texas and did the first ever Texas Domination Fest, headlined by Inherent Disease and Severed Savior, which was ridiculous to see those bands. I mean, Severed Savior hadn't done anything 14 years. But then it's like to speak into what you said about community. We've played so many of these fests now and met so many people that you walk into a place like that and so many people, and you don't get to see them all the time because they live in different parts of the world and different parts of the country, and you only get to see them when these big festivals happen. But it's like one big family every time you see these people. It's one of my bass homies. I forgot to mention Mark Chandler from up in Canada, man. I love watching that dude play too, but actually finally getting to hang out for an extended period of time for one of the first times was fucking awesome. So it's one big giant family, especially in the brutal death metal world. Everybody is so cool. Everybody loves everybody. It really is just family.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Badass. So you are in currently Stabbing and Architectural Genocide, and what other bands were you in before that?
Previously, I was in a metalcore project that was called Sibylline Prophecy, kind of local Houston stuff. We did some stuff with what was it? We did a Summer Slaughter show one year, the year Animals as Leaders and Periphery and Dillinger Escape Plan. The really only brutal bands that year were Aeon and Cattle Decapitation. It's probably, I think it was like 2011 or 12.
I remember that one.
And then prior to that band ran from 2008 to 2007, 2008 to about 2012. It had a couple iterations before for a few years. But before that, really nothing major. Just did a project called Detox for a while. That was a little punkish, metalcore-ish, and then before that, like a cover band. But I've been fortunate to get into these projects that have some longevity to them for a period of time. So And I was always that guy at first. I was like, no, I don't want to be in multiple bands. Put my focus on one band. So being an AG and Stabbing right now is really the first time I've done two at once, which is pretty sick. It's fun, I gotta say. They definitely have two completely different dynamics, not just from the songwriting and playing, but in styles, but to the guys in the bands. It's awesome to be part of two different in the same genre pretty much, right? And then I got to do something super cool at TDF, which was we had back-to-back sets. So AG and Stabbing played, and it was literally because Stabbing took the place of another band that dropped late in the game. We took their time slot, and it was literally just AG 15-minute break, Stabbing, and I fucking enjoyed the hell out of it. I would gladly do that again.
Oh yeah. Sick. So you guys Stabbing's on Century Media, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Cool. Is Architectural Genocide signed currently?
Comatose Music with Steve Green, who's he runs Comatose. He's also a guitar player at Less of Decay, who just played TDF as well. Love that band. Got to give him a shout out because that band's sick as fuck. Steve's great. Comatose is great. And AG's got a record in the can, so working on artwork for it now, and then we'll be releasing it. Wanted to try to slide it in this year, but it's probably going to be first part of next year before it comes out.
Sweet, sick. Something to look forward to for sure.
Hell yeah.
Daily commute right there.
Yeah, there you go, Brando.
Fucking A, man.
Oh, it'll be on there.
I guarantee it, buddy. Nothing gets past Brando.
Hell yeah.
So is everybody in Stabbing? Is everybody in the Houston scene? I know. Is Aaron your official drummer now?
Yeah. So Aaron plays when he's available. No, Aaron's here. Aaron's here in Houston.
Oh, is he
I know
Houston?
y'all had him on too.
Yeah.
I love Aaron.
Why the hell is that thought Fort Worth?
Yeah, so he's basically the go-to guy when he's available. You know, he's got the Enterprise Earth gig. So that kind of is the forefront. So he did this last tour with us. He did the album with us in this last tour, the 200 Stab Wounds tour.
Cool.
And then, but he wasn't available because he was out with another band for TDF. So we had a guy, Brandon Busa from I Am, fill in. And that's kind of the 1-2 punch. Like the plan anyway is like when Aaron's available, he's the guy. If he's not, we'll have Busa come in. Guys we've known in the scene.
Right.
We all see each other at shows. It's funny. I met Aaron actually at an AG show, one of our first 2 or 3 shows we played, and on that show was Enterprise Earth. So it's kind of crazy.
Full
and how
circle.
we met was he sent the band Architectural a cover of one of our songs on drums. He was like, "Hey, saw you guys play." Covered the song, here it goes. And then we've been homies ever since. So it's and that was like back in 2018, 2019. So it's like then to come full circle now and be jammed with, like, watch him come up from that and go through the projects he's had. I mean, the dude's just nobody. There's not a drummer out there with a work ethic like that guy. Like he has an insane work ethic, and I love to see it. It's cool as shit. And then now to be jamming with him too it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's badass.
Yeah.
So,
but everybody's from the scene. Marvin's been around here. Bridget, known him for a long time. Seen him at shows. Seen several projects Marvin's been in. It's one of those. It's kind of one of those situations where I've always wanted to find a way to play music with Marv. Loved his guitar playing, loved his style. That's where I really learned the most, and I have learned the most throughout my entire time as a bassist. As I've been able to play with exceptionally good guitar players and pick up nuances and things and not so much from a writing aspect but from a performing aspect, just like learning hard ass songs and getting to play with musicians I love seeing perform. So, and it was like that with Marv for a long time. I wanted to find a way to make music, and so when the opportunity came up, it was a no-brainer. I was like, fuck yeah, of course I'll come fucking play in Stabbing. Like, that's awesome.
That's badass.
Yeah, and then having seen Bridget at shows from around the scene forever and watched her come up and then come into her own with Stabbing too. She's had several other projects in the scene before that I'd seen her in. Just another musician that's like, hell yeah, I want to jam with that person. So it's I've pretty much almost scratched off my entire list of Houston musicians I grew up seeing and either with or seeing and wanted to jam with. Like, there's only a couple left I haven't jammed with.
Oh yeah, dude, she's a beast too. Well, let's hear about L&D Productions. Is it called?
Yeah. L&D Productions. Mm-hmm.
What's the gig on that?
production company me and my wife run, mainly the wife. It's a labor of love for her. She absolutely thoroughly enjoys booking shows. So how that came about is we wanted. It's funny because we had the idea, and then it took us a year to get to the idea. So we wanted to book the shows we wanted to see, the tours we wanted to see, right, and do it from a musician and a fan standpoint. So not from somebody trying to make money, not from some promoter fucking you around, you know. So a lot of that goes on, right? Especially in Houston. So you end up with a bunch of bullshit shows, and so the goal was just to take on things we wanted to do from those perspectives. And then and then you know word got out we were booking shows, and it was like, oh, I know those people, I like those people, and so it was like, and then we're like, well, fuck, we like those people, so we end up booking everything that gets thrown at us for the first year. And then the goal with this is we wanted to have our own, don't call it a fest, right? Because I love 3-day festivals, great, cool, 30, 40, 50, 60 bands, awesome, they're fun. But as I get older, it's like, fuck, man, that's a lot. Like a 3-4 day and Maryland Death Fest, I thought my legs were gonna fall off. Like it was crazy, rolling around MDF for 4 days, and just now TDF. So we had this vision in mind to start kind of booking tours and shows we wanted, building shows we wanted, putting shows together, you know, bringing bands in that mainly we wanted to see and we knew the fans wanted to see. And then it just kind of, like I said, spiraled out, and we just started doing everything that everybody threw at us for the first year. But now we're finally settling down and being like, the big thing we did was she was really a big part of putting on Gulf Coast Death Fest 3 this year, back in March, which our buddy Edward Speared put together and runs down in Corpus. And then, you know, the whole thing was booked. He had some shit come up, was going to have to cancel the fest, and we were like, fuck it, we'll borrow it for a year, we'll move it to Houston, we'll take care of it for you, and then you just take it back next year. And it went so well that, you know, at the end he came back to us this year and was like, hey man, let's do it in Houston again. and it was so much work doing a festival like that. I think when we started we had 34 bands. I think when it actually happened we had 28 or 29 is how many performed, but it's a lot. It's a lot. We ran 2 stages.
How many days?
The venue booked 2 days, just a Friday and a Saturday. We do 2 stages, right? So I'd seen this run by Les up at Slam Dakota one year. I went to Slam Dakota Fest as a fan. Ate a bunch of mushrooms. It was fucking fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I highly recommend seeing metal festivals that way if that's your bag. But
absolutely.
She ran an outdoor stage and an indoor stage, and she ran them on 5-minute intervals. So each stage has a 30-minute changeover. But there's not for the concert goer. There's no downtime. You're like, fuck, I have time to grab a beer, take a piss, and by the time I do that and get to the next stage, the next band's firing up. And if you run it like a machine, it's beautiful. And at the end of most day one festivals, everybody's like exhausted and tired. I noticed at the end of day one Gulf Coast, everybody's like, wait, it's over? It's over? There's not another band? Like they're ready, they're wanting more. So it ended up being the perfect setup. But yeah, so did that this year, gonna do it next year. We still have our own thing. I don't know if she would want me to tell everybody what it's called. I don't know if she's still lurking around and can tell me if I can say it or not, but we've got a little something we're cooking up of our own too. That'll become a regular thing. And just how we think,
gotta get it cleared.
How we think a fest should be done. I'll say that. But the ultimate goal for this too was to get the connections and get with the booking agents and the bands and get everything rolling. And we really, really, really have a vision of turning it into a venue one day, a venue of our own. Because so many closed and all the good ones are gone. And again, from that same perspective, from a musician and a fan putting things together, not just a group of people saying, hey, we got to put something together and make some money. It's like, really, we want music. Somewhere bands tell their tour managers, hey, we roll through Houston, we want to play fucking L&D's place.
Yeah, you know, Brandon and I often talk about that. You know, everything isn't, like, whenever it comes to venues, it's, you know, you were talking about something else, but it comes from the point of view of making money, you know, and not from the perspective of the musician who's actually playing at the show or the fan who's actually going to the show to watch these musicians play. And so there's a lot of value, I think, in actually stepping back and taking those perspectives into consideration. And to be a fan and to be a musician and to be doing it, you know, or trying to aim toward that as your goal, just sounds like really cool because you kind of got the best of both worlds, you know?
Right.
And you're also like so open to everybody else's input already because you're a musician. You know, you've taken criticism, and you've also, you know, spent a lot of hard hours like learning and working on your craft. And so all of that comes from feedback and discipline. And anyway, yeah, it sounds like, 100%. You know, the kind of venue that I would want to play at, you know, as a musician. It sounds like the kind of venue I'd want to go to as a fan, one that like took my, you know, likes into consideration. So very cool.
And thinking about things from different, like, you know, when you travel the country and you play different venues all across the country, there's so many things. You get almost like a blacklist in your head, and when you get your tour dates and you look at it and you see, you're like, oh fuck, we gotta play there again. You know, and it's you enjoy it for the fan aspect of it, but you don't enjoy the venue setup. You don't enjoy the way they run shit. Sometimes you don't enjoy the crew that works there. So it's taking all of that into consideration. And it's, you know, I don't want to call it a pipe dream because I truly believe we'll achieve it one day. But we're very much taking the small, short approach or long approach to get it done right? Because it's, like I said, we had this vision of how we were going to put on shows, and it was in the same vein. It was like, you know, from a musician fan. And then we started booking shows, and it's like, we still have yet to get one perfect the way we truly envisioned it, get everything done the way we truly wanted it. It's like there's always something off the rails. But we've had a good time doing it. I mean, we just brought Gudalax, right, from Poland, their first time ever in Texas. So it was absolutely incredible to have them here. That was a phenomenal show. We've had Internal Suffering. We did the Molested Divinity Carnivore Diprosopus show that just came through here. We had a ton of bands. Esophagus up from Chile when we did Gulf Coast. So it's like really trying to focus on the internationals too, and finding a way to get everybody's favorite bands here that you might not ever get a chance to see very often.
Man, that's awesome. We appreciate that. Yeah.
I was going to bring up the Gutalax thing because I was going to say I know Architectural Genocide did a short run with them, right? Like,
not with them. We did it with Molested and Carnivore. That was just the same time. Gudalax was doing their own thing the same week of TDF, so they were all right around each other.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. That's cool. I was going to ask if you were the one that, like, if you guys, L&Ds, who brought Gudalax here.
They came with Miguel, right, for TDF was the big thing. And then they booked, so a good friend of mine, Austin Douglas, from the band Deflowered out of DFW. He helped put the little mini run together. And so we basically bought the package for Houston. So
awesome. That's cool.
That's how a lot of that works, right? So these tour packages get set up, and they go around and shop it to the promoters, and they have a guarantee, of course, and then, you know, you're either willing to take the risk or not, right? And that's something that we don't. If it's a show we want, and that's one that, you know, it's on a Monday. They've never been to Texas. They're going to play TDF too. Metalheads travel, so will people show up or will they not? And the wife and I, you know, she's a huge fan of theirs, and so it was one of those things where it's like, who cares? Who cares if they play to just us? Like that, right. Like that would be sick. So and then it ended up packing the place and doing extremely well. So,
hell yeah.
Hell of a deal, man. That's sick. That's cool. I know Brandon is super interested in the production side of things, you know, and show booking and all that, and that's something that eventually that we'd love to check out and all that. We've sponsored a few shows now. Zoomy and Brandon just went and did like a in-person sponsorship, pretty much, what you call it, you know, at the Signs of the Swarm. So that's
hell
cool.
Yeah.
How was that, guys? You guys, I know I missed the episode talking about it, but that was pretty sick, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we had a lot of good time just sitting around, hanging out with fans, talking about, you know, the show, talking about what we do, and also hanging out with bands and chatting with them, you know, which is a lot of times, you know, I say that's the biggest reason why we got into this, you know, is so I could hang out with my friends, and I could hang out with other bands, other musicians, and other metalheads. I didn't, you know, I don't get that dose every day. Even hanging around other musicians, I don't get the metalheads every day, and so this is a chance to have a weekly or twice a week kind of deal. And so getting to go to that show and set up and just talk to people was everything we wanted to do. It's a little hard at first, just to go up and be like, hi, blah, 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 because it's a metal show. Even though everybody's super cool, everybody still does have like guards up,
Right.
I mean, initially. I mean, it's just the natural, like we walk in and we've got our guards up and, we're always leery about, I don't know, anybody trying to sell you something or whatever. And, metalheads aren't afraid to tell you how they feel or what, is going on. And so, there was a part of me that was like, are they going to say, get out of my face? But then I remembered who I was talking to and everybody was cool. So.
Dude,
Right,
awesome.
right. Well, maybe one day we can sponsor a stabbing show and I'll come down and visit old Brando.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking sick.
Yeah, we'll approach everybody like, have you read the good book?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Talking about Jehovah.
It's your fucking pamphlets.
What tours do you have lined up, Matt, so far? In the near future,
Right now I think we're pretty done for the rest of the year. I think one surprise show might pop up that I'm not sure if I can say anything or not. I know for a fact that I can't say anything about the next tour, but that there is one first part of next year. Cool. So if follow the Stabbing page and everything, you'll see what's going with that. We got to finish up tracking the new record. So we also have a new Stabbing record coming out.
Nice.
Don't know how deep I can go, but it's like, we're guitars and drums are done. We got to wrap up bass and vocals, and then that'll be done being tracked and probably mixed and mastered by the end of the year. So we're looking really, really, really forward to that one. It's fucking heavy. It's awesome. Really love the new songs. This last tour we did with 200 Stab Wounds, we played 4 of them. We played 4 new songs because we had just tracked drums and guitars coming out of the studio literally the day before we left for tour, and then we started in our hometown, Houston, which was sold out. So fucking shout out to everybody for coming out and selling upstairs at White Oak out for us. That was sick. And then. So it's looking forward to getting that out as well and being on a full. I did the recording of the demo with Stabbing, the last one that we had that they remixed and mastered on Century Media later. We initially released it. Ryan from NSE helped us put that out when I first joined the band, right before the Suffocation tour. And then they remixed and mastered 2 songs. We got features from Ruben from Devourment on one track and D from Peeling Flesh on another track. So be really excited to get recorded on a full length with them and then get rolling next year. And like I said, I can't tell you what it is, but I can tell you if you follow us, first part of next year we do have a tour announcement coming up at some point.
Yeah, hell yeah. We will stay tuned. Cool,
yeah,
man.
that's
sick.
That's really cool. I got to check you guys out on that Suffocation tour. And so you had just joined up with the band right before that tour. And so, Greg, weren't you there? Yeah,
no, I didn't get to make that. I didn't get to make the Suffocation show.
Okay. Why did I feel like you were there?
No.
Okay.
I remember your review.
That whole tour was sick, man. Like it's kind of unreal, to get, have your buddy be like, hey man, come play in our band. We're gonna track these 2 songs, and then we're going on tour with Suffocation. And it's actually funny because if people like, when you get married, people are like, hey, are you sure you married the right woman? My wedding was planned. Paid for. It's happening November 19th, and then I joined Stabbing, and it's like. Before Marv and Bridget went to Jade, before they even asked me to do it, we're like, hey, it's like the tour is during y'all's wedding. It's the entire month of November. But the date of your wedding happens to be an off date. And she was like, if he's home for the wedding, I'm fine. And so I literally, we play Lawrence, Kansas, middle of the tour. I Uber to Kansas City, hop on a plane, fucking fly home, land, go get tux, ring, all the shit, go to rehearsal dinner, wake up the next day, get married, stay one night with her, and then she puts me on a plane and I fly to Seattle to catch back up with the tour. So that's
fucking gangster.
That was one of the most
awesome
story.
sick.
That
I'll
is
never
a badass story.
I'll never forget coming around the corner. So I fly into Seattle. I take the train into town. Stabbing was coming up from small town Washington. I forget. And then, so they weren't there yet. And I'll never forget coming walking around the corner. It was about a mile walk from the train station to the venue. And it was nice out, and I'd never seen Seattle. So I was like, fuck it, I'll walk. And I come around the corner from the venue. And there's incantation skeleton and Suffo unloading gear, and they see me and they just start cheering. Roar! It's like getting congratulations from all those dudes was pretty fucking awesome. Cool. So it's memory I'll never forget. Getting married in the middle of a tour, and then a hero's welcome coming back. It was sick.
Yeah, seeing that tour, what was really cool that I remember was after you guys played, I guess, a lot of people maybe hadn't heard you guys or whatever. And, this usually happens, too, after bands play. But I had never seen it like this before. But there was a run on you guys' merch table like I'd never seen.
Yeah. Suffo Tour merch was wild.
That was insane. And there were so many times, because I'm like one of these people that I have trouble deciding what shirt I'm going to buy, because it's like, I want to buy a shirt from everybody, but I only have like so much money, and shirts aren't cheap anymore. No. And so, I'm going around and I'm looking, and then by the time, I get back around to Stabbing, they had basically sold out of like almost all their 2XLs. Man, and I was like, I waited too long.
We re-upped on merch, I think 4 times on that run total. Wow. We had to get merch shipped out to us. Yeah, it was a good run. Good run.
Well, I thought it was awesome, and Brandon was really hyping you guys up before that show to me, because he and I were chatting about it. And whenever I saw everybody at the line being like, I don't know, it was like zigzagged through there. Yeah. I was like, man, this is really cool. I've never seen it like this.
And shout out to Bridget, because she runs off stage while we're packing our shit up and gets out to the table and starts helping people as soon as they start. So it's like, as soon as we get there, and it's like, like you said, it was like that every night. So
That's great, man. Yeah. It was a lot of fun to see that happen, though.
Cool.
Hey, I saw you do the same thing at that 200 stab, that opening night at White Oak. You came running back.
That was soaking wet, holding my amp and shit, and throwing it down and just being like, because Bridget unfortunately had an emergency and couldn't go out with us this last run, so we did it as a 3-piece. Marv handled vocals, which he's done in his other project, Nephilim Grinder. So it's not new to him at all. That's another one of the reasons why we did 4 of the new tracks that we had just been in the studio recording, and then of course the fan favorites as well. But yeah, man, that's you don't truly appreciate something until you don't have it, and having that person to get out there and knock it out at first is, because every show I was carrying my road case and all my shit and all the wires on top and just running behind the merch table and throwing it down and being like, sell some shirts. But I also got to give a shout out to Avery, our tour manager from that tour too, because she helped us out a lot. The 200 Stab, it's Steve from 200 Stab's girlfriend, and she's also a sick ass tour manager.
She was busting really ass that night, man.
On the tour. Yeah, she's a killer, man. She really is. And the 200 guy, all the 200 guys. That's one of the coolest things about touring is sometimes you know the bands you're touring with, like Suffocation. Legends. We grew up with them. They're great. Getting to meet those guys, and after 30 plus shows with them, you become friends, and it's like that's the thing. That's the takeaway. It's like it's still wild to me that I could pick up my cell phone right now and text Derek Boyer if I wanted to. It just blows my fucking mind, right? Guy will hook me up with strings if I need strings and shit, right? 'Cause he's got an endorsement and they're cheaper. Sorry, Derek, if I get you in trouble, but like, it's that's what's cool, And going into the 200 tour, like, I don't know, we were talking before the podcast started. I wasn't, no lie, hadn't really checked them out fully, and so getting this, my favorite thing about discovering a new band is discovering them live, seeing them live first, having heard no recorded music whatsoever, which is so hard to do today. Like with the streaming services and instant access to everything, it's almost impossible to not hear a band before. And I won't say I hadn't heard them; I'd heard them, but never an in-depth listen, right? And so it was really cool to become a fan of that band on the road with them while you're becoming friends with them. It's like you go home and it's one of those deals. Charlie from Suffo had a thing where he's like, it's never goodbye, it's always I'll see you later. And it's like we adopted that and kind of became friends with these guys. Like Ray from 200 Stab lives up in Dallas, and I can't wait to have a free weekend to drive up there and kick it with him and slam some fucking beers or have him dump some. So it's a funny tour story. There's always shenanigans of some kind. And so what we started doing on this run was towards the end, I would buy. We found this one venue. I wish I could remember the name of it, but they had this shot called a Burt Reynolds. and it's essentially just bourbon and honey bitters. So it's fucking delicious. And they were like $5 a pop at this one bar. So one night we all got tore up on these Burt Reynolds shots, and then so from then on, I would buy a round of shots for the guys while they were playing on stage. And at first I would just take the tray over and just set them down and let them take them. And then towards the part where they were going to keep going, and we were going to jump off right before Full Terror Assault, I would walk on stage while they're playing and feed them shots, and we were having a great time. As long as they're Burt Reynolds shots, everybody's happy. So one of the last nights we were gonna be with them, and I don't even know if I told them that it was planned, but I fucking go on stage. It was the X-Ray Arcade in Cudahy, Wisconsin. Wild ass show, man. The kids were going off at that one, stage diving, going nuts. Pit was crazy. And so I take them all around to Burt Reynolds and go up on stage and feed them while they're playing. And then I go to the bartender. I told her to give me the shittiest well whiskey she has.
I knew this was coming.
And as I give it to her, they're all, Ray shakes his head. He's like, what the fuck was that? And I get to Steve and I feed him a shot. And then I just jump off into the crowd as he's taking it and like spitting it out, flipping him off into the crowd, getting crowd surfed away. And it was like one of my favorite things. It was so much fucking fun. Ray got me back at Full Terror Assault while I'm playing a song. I get my head pulled back, and he's got a bottle of red wine. He's just dumping red wine down my throat while we're playing. So it's you're on the road with these people, and you get to know each other, and you become homies. And I mean, we went to Mall America and rode roller coasters in Minneapolis. We had a shitload of fun, man. Like it's really cool to befriend like-minded people, right? They came up just like we did on the brutal shit. They just happen to play music and happen to tour all the time, and it's really cool to I guess see a different side than you normally would get to. You know, you're getting to hang out with them and actually do fun shit and go drinking and have a good time. So that's my favorite part about being on the road, man. Like it's incredible.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but it sounds like you've done some pretty cool tours just over the last like 12 months, right? So
yeah.
Is there one that you would say was maybe like your favorite tour?
For sure. It's the little nephews whose shirt I'm wearing. We call them the little nephews, Nuclear Remains. It wasn't. I wish it had been longer. It was a little short, 7-8 show run we did. So we had gotten asked to play play with Kitty within the ruins, Unearth, up in New York. So we were going to do that. We were going to do some shows on the way up there, and we decided to take Nuclear Remains with us. And they're a young band. Really young band, and they're incredible. They're brutal as fuck. They're humble, and that we played small market, small venues. One of the first shows, Mad Malt's Brewing, I think it's Chattanooga, Tennessee, is where that one is. And concrete floor in front of all the fucking brewery equipment and shit. And the guy's like, it was funny because when we get there, the guy's like, hey man, like we got some extra staff coming tonight because we sold 60 pre-sale tickets. And I was like, oh, yeah? He's like, yeah, usually when we sell 20 pre-sale tickets, about 100 kids show up. He's like, so we sold 60 pre-sale tickets. We're like, whoa. And about 200 kids showed up to this place and just went fucking ape shit. And it was small, intimate setting. You're on the floor, eye level with them. They're in your face. Like those are my favorite shows, man. We got like on stuff for the Suffo run, which I mean, still it's hard to compare them all, right? But we played some of the bigger theaters on that run, and you're up away from the crowd, and there's a security barrier in front, and they're having fun, but you're not having. Like, I'm very animated in terms of talking to the crowd sometimes when I'm on stage, especially, and watching the people in front of me. I'll talk to them in between songs, and I just let them know, hey, we're gonna have a good fucking time over here on this side of the stage. So if you're not ready to have a good time and fucking party, like go stand over there. But yeah, that run with these guys, man, it was really cool to take a younger band out with us and just really play these smaller places where everybody's in your face, and it was that was definitely one of my favorites. Like I said,
awesome.
Same thing as before. I was telling you, become friends with everybody else. Become friends with these guys, man. They become family. We're calling them our little nephews. I was carrying Aiden, the singer, around on my back when we were in Nashville, piggyback style. we had a day off in Nashville where we we went to Kid Rock Steakhouse, ironically, and just experience that, which Don't do it. If you're in Nashville and you think it'll be funny, it's good for a laugh, but nah. Steak suck.
Sounds expensive.
Yeah, it does.
It was.
Yeah.
A waste of money. But we made a good time of it. We made a really, really, really good time of it.
Well, hell yeah. If there was like one band that you could tour with or play a show with as like a supporting act, like just be like, direct support for like anyone.
Oh, man.
Who would it be?
That's a impossible question to answer. I feel like there's so many. But if it could be anybody,
sky's the limit, man.
oh fuck, I don't even know. I it's not brutal at all, but I would have loved to have seen original Alice in Chains back in the day, and I think touring with them would have been sick. Seeing that every night, that dynamic. Preferably if they had done the unplugged shit on a tour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Not a month goes by where I don't listen to that record in its entirety.
Awesome.
That's really
Yeah,
cool.
Alice
I remember whenever that was, coming out. I mean, I think we were in high school. It might have been even just right before high school, but so much fun. We had so much fun just listening to that album, and really good answer. I kind of commend you on that because that's the only one I think that we've gotten so far that is truly like a wish. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For me, I would want to even deep dive further, but it would have had to have been in the 90s, like when in the heyday, like when shit was, just different. It's like the concert experience I talked about at the very beginning, where it's like that just doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't happen. Like, I'm not saying that people don't have fun at shows, and I know Randy Blythe recently went on a rant about, put your phones in your pockets or I'm going to sit in a chair on my phone. And it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Let people enjoy a concert how they want to enjoy a concert. They pay their money. They can do what they wanted at a show. But that experience from back then, fully immersed, there was nothing else to do but pay attention to the show. It's second to none, man, and I hate that people don't get that experience. The reason that people argue against it is because they never experienced it. They don't know what the difference is. So it's like for us that do and remember that, it was a totally different experience. I love the concert experience, right? To me, it's the concert experience, it's tops. It's fucking tops. But it just, that time was different. It was just totally. I recently found while on tour, one of the things I like to do is if I can find a record shop, used record store in any city, I'll definitely go. I've become one of those annoying vinyl collectors. But I found somebody randomly live recorded Alice in Chains in 1992 and then put it on wax. And it's like, I've looked it up. I've tried to find it. I've only found like a handful ever anywhere that anybody. It's like there's no record label on it. There's no anything. It's just like somebody recorded it, somebody put it on wax, and somebody put it out. And I found it. And when I play it, it's like a time capsule, man. It's like a time machine. It takes you right back. It just sound when I tell people like, what's it sound like? I'm like, it sounds like the 90s.
Heck yeah, man.
That's really cool.
That's awesome. That's very cool.
It's fucking awesome.
Man. So we found when we asked this question, most people are like, oh man, I don't even really get to do that. But like, what bands are there any bands that like you're currently listening to? Like, what's on your playlist? Anything new, or like, are you listening to old, just reminiscing all the time, or?
I listen to. I am that guy that listens to everything. I mean, I'm so back and forth. On just I listen to a ton of brutal stuff, but I love 80s music. I love even the dance, the pop. We went and saw Madonna, not because my wife wanted to, on her last tour, because I wanted to go see Madonna. Like that's like when I got into music. My mom here in Houston, there's a radio station, Sunny 99.1, that seems like it's been around for my entire life. And that's what I listened to. I listened to Gloria Estefan and Whitney Houston, and so Madonna, and so that was a big part. Phil Collins, Genesis, and all that stuff was like big in me wanting to play music even to begin with. So my playlist is always on rotation. But because they're coming to town next Saturday, not Houston, they're gonna drive to Austin to see them. I've been listening to a lot of Cancer Slug. It's kind of punkish, kind of yeah. I don't know if you call it true punk, but it's Alex Story who does vocals for Doyle and his band. It's his original project, so I get to go see them next Saturday in Austin, and I'm really stoked about that.
Them.
They don't
I've seen
fucking
him
tour,
perform
so
with Doyle before.
yeah, love Cancer Slug. So I've been jamming that a lot lately. That's probably the number one thing that's been spinning here most recently. And Mishoon.
Okay.
There's a band called Mishoon that is Erkin from Molested Divinity. We were just Architectural just did a mini run with them, and he introduced us to his other project, which is it's really fucking good. So I've had that on since he showed me that quite a bit too.
Awesome. I think you might have just answered the next question too, which is, are there any good shows that you're looking forward to, like to attend as a fan, or releases that are upcoming?
The Deicide show that was canceled last night, that sucks because was kind of looking forward to that, but totally understandable.
Yeah,
they got to get back to Florida and take care of their own, so that was bittersweet to hear about, but it's coming up. I think that one, this Cancer Slug show I'm going to, really looking forward to that. And then I honestly, like, we've been so busy in the last several months, I haven't even had time to pay attention to what's coming out, who's releasing what. So as far as like new music, I'm not even sure what's on the radar for the rest of the year.
right. Yeah, I'm not even sure either. I know there's always something in December though to like make you forget about all the shit that came out in January, you know.
But then I guess what I'm looking forward most to in terms of going to a show is that Devastation on the Nation, Morbid Angel, Suffocation coming. They're coming to Houston actually on my wife and I's 1-year wedding anniversary, the 19th of November. So we played with those dudes at Full Terror Assault and let them know that we're coming to share our anniversary cake with them, because it's what are the odds, right? What are the odds in the universe that exactly a year later they're in my hometown?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And the guys in Suffocation, I mean, they like have the whole experience with you, and all that.
Yeah,
that's sick. That's sick.
It's fucking cool as shit.
It'd be really cool if you actually had like old wedding cake and you showed up with this moldy.
Yeah, well, they make you keep the topper, right? And a year later you're supposed to fucking we're taking. But then the wife was like, oh well, there's a lot of them, so she actually ordered another cake.
Oh,
That's
nice.
awesome,
You're taking a whole cake to the show, and plus your original topper.
Yeah.
You're talking about, like, you just got married last year, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So, and that's what I'm saying. That's why it's wild that exactly a year later on 1-year anniversary, Suffocation's back on tour, and
right here in
just
town.
so happens that it's in our city on our anniversary. So it was like,
that's awesome.
Celebrate.
Very cool. Yeah.
We gotta celebrate with those dudes. Looking forward to it.
Definitely.
Hell yeah. What are either AG or Stabbing's goals for like closing out 2024 and starting up 2025? I mean, I know you've got some stuff in like ready to go. I guess is it just finishing the final details?
Finishing touches on both records, making sure they're both ready for release next year is the goal before the end of the year for sure. AG is pretty much final mix and master plus artwork away. And like I said, getting in probably before the end of this month and tracking the rest of the Stabbing record, and then that's out of our hands and as far as release goes, we just record it and hand it to Century, and then they do what they do with it, release it when they release it. But with the AG stuff, that's what I like about working with Comatose and Steve is you give a little more control over that kind of stuff. So it's a lot more hands-on approach as opposed to just like recording something and shipping it off. So and the AG songs, man, some of those have been around for a while. We've been trying to get this thing out for a long time. I don't know what the future of that project is post TDF. I know we want to keep it around, we want to keep it busy, but it's one of those things too where all the band members have careers and personal lives in that project, and our drummer is for sure stepping away after this little run we just did. So, but wants to stay around in some capacity as well. So we want to keep it going. Everybody in that band loves that band. So what'll probably happen to that project is a few fests here and there, and EP releases every couple years. And then with Stabbing, it's get this record out, get the tour we have lined up first of the year out of the way, and then just see what the rest of the year holds next year. But yeah, for the rest of 2024, just polishing what we have, getting these 2 records out and ready for release.
Awesome. Are there what kind of goals, or like what do you guys have? Is there anything with L&D Productions that you can talk about?
Yeah, we're absolutely in the middle of and again, hats off to the wife, because I'm attached to it, but she works her fucking ass off. She's the one doing all the legwork for it, and then I show up and help stage manage day of, and everybody, that's how that goes. But yeah, very much in the middle of Gulf Coast Death Fest 4. It's going to be in Houston again, end of March. I think it's the 15th to the 18th, I think. Pre-fest and 2-day fest, pre-show and 2-day fest. So, don't think I can say any bands yet, but I can tell you it's gonna be a fucking good one. It's gonna be a fucking good one.
I'll keep an eye out for ticket sales.
Yeah,
make sure I hit it up.
We'll do pre-sales. I think the flyer is almost done, and there will be a teaser announcement before the end of this month, I believe.
Awesome.
So yeah, and then same thing. You follow. Make sure you follow Stabbing. Make sure you follow Architectural and follow L&D Productions. And then we're always putting shit out there.
Absolutely. I'll make sure. I know I already follow AG and Stabbing, but I'm gonna go find L&D Productions as soon as we're done here tonight.
Right on. Right on.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I think that wraps up all of our formal questions. So we'll open it up to
that's about
any loose conversation that wants to be had, or we could close it out.
I got some questions.
Yeah, go for it. Man.
All right, coffee or tea?
Coffee, and I drink it black.
Hey, there we go. I like it.
I grind my own beans too. I'm a snob.
Now we're talking, everybody. This is not a coffee drinker.
Yeah.
This is a coffee drinker.
Yeah. And before I dropped it and broke it, French press too.
French press. What about a percolator? You ever take it back to the old days?
No, I wish, man. I've definitely had that made for me while staying with somebody on the road, and was
it's not bad, huh?
What the fuck is this?
Where did you get this coffee?
Oh my god, yeah.
That is so funny. All right, are you a morning person or a night owl?
Oh, man, as I get older, neither. As I get older,
I want to go to bed early. I want to sleep late.
Midnight's the cap, and then I'm in bed, and then alarm goes off in the morning. I'm like, I don't know if I can get up.
I've been experiencing that, man. At night, I don't want to go to sleep, but I sure as shit don't want to wake up either. Once I'm asleep,
Same.
I'm
yeah.
No.
It was very, very relatable at 39 years old.
Yeah, I think it's just part of getting old, man.
Yeah, it's our time. It's our time.
Yep.
All right. So Christmas or Halloween?
Oh, Halloween.
All right. Okay, now I have 2 open-ended questions for you.
Cool.
Favorite food?
Oh wow. My wife's Panamanian, so anything that's home cooked and her homemade salsa on top of is
all right. Sounds yummy.
It's definitely my favorite. Yeah.
All right, favorite movie?
Man, you can't.
Yeah.
Heat.
Man, you
Heat
did,
movie,
buddy.
I think it was 1991, 1992.
You talking about Heat with Val Kilmer?
Yeah, Val Kilmer, Al Pacino, yeah, Tom Sizemore.
Right.
Yeah. That's my go-to. I had a guy tell me one time that he said, "Oh man, that's just a white boy Scarface."
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, okay.
I love that movie though. It's fucking great. Great movie. I love Michael Mann as a director too. Yeah.
That's great, man. That's great. Well, they didn't even know I was going to ask a few questions, so that's how I do there in the end. I'm always like,
hell yeah.
You know what I could be thinking about, but you know these are great ways that people can get a chance to know you too, and
for sure.
You know, just see you kind of even outside of the metal talk, even if it's just for like 5 real quick questions.
Yeah, 100%.
I always have a lot of fun too with weird random stuff like that. So
yeah, I enjoy getting to know like-minded people, right, and good people. Like it's. I was telling Brandon the other day when we were hanging out. I was like, it's weird as an adult making friends. like it's so easy when you're a kid. You know, everybody just walks up and starts talking to each other. It seems like when you become an adult, everybody's standoffish, and it's like, oh, we can communicate in our little interaction once or twice, and then that's it. You know, I'm never gonna call you. It's like, okay.
Yeah, man.
Different, you know,
it's healthy to open up every now and then, meet some new people. So
yeah, fuck yeah, man. Yeah, especially like I get to meet. I have tons of acquaintances, right? And it's you meet so many people, and there's so many people, but to meet some dudes that you get to know, and you're like, oh fuck, man, these guys are just like me.
Yep.
Like it's super cool, and to be passionate about the same shit is awesome.
Definitely.
Hell yeah. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Well, speaking of passionate about the same stuff, I think we're gonna do a little song on the episode.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
So the one that we got ready is we're going to play Pulled Apart. And that's by Stabbing. So
it's fun to play.
Everybody, check it out. Here it comes. Oh yeah, that's the truth.
I'll grab my bass and play along.
So it's funny you said that. I was gonna say you need to do a bass playthrough for us.
Yeah, no, I am 100% way behind on content.
On base playthroughs that you
I have to do a ton of shit.
Yeah.
That's something I'm really looking forward to, getting a decent camera. Like I'm doing my little laptop camera for this, but I want to get a decent camera and actually start doing some playthroughs and shit and doing some covers. One of the things I loved, it's weird to say that, right? But one of the things I loved about COVID was the access to musicians, right? Because they were all sitting at home with nothing to do, and then the covers and the online content we got out of it that have just like disappeared since. But it was so fucking cool. You'd watch members of different. I mean, there was I remember Trevor and Pustulus Maximus from Guar, and the bass player I think was from Biohazard. They did a fucking Cannibal Corpse cover, and it's like they're all recorded in their own spaces and then cut together, and I loved that. That happened so many times. And then we had, I think it was the Sick at Home Fest or something they called it, where it was like an actual fest, and all these bands gave content and of live streaming. Right, Behemoth did one that was sick. In the rundown church.
Yeah,
in
Behemoth
Poland.
was awesome.
In Absentee Day or whatever. My wife and I, when we first got together,
cool.
we used to trip balls together and watch that, and it was fucking awesome.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, it was super sick. So it's like, but then the world opened back up and all that content dried up and disappeared. I'm like, I still think that there's a market for it, in terms of like live streaming shit. And I won't go any further
the jam
into
band
detail.
world, people pay a membership to watch Fish shows concerts on TV. I mean, it's like a whole
100%.
network, dude. They make shitloads of money off all that, dude.
Yeah,
people
it's like,
live off that. Message boards they pay to be on, shows they pay literally memberships to watch every single show.
I absolutely think there's a market for some stuff like that, especially for people who can't make it out to the shows and the fests.
That's what I was gonna say.
Right,
yeah.
like that's a big thing. If you put some effort into quality content, I really think there's a market for that. So it was proven pretty much during COVID. It's now, how substantial would it be after? Who knows? But even just the ability for somebody who doesn't have the chance to see a show to be able to hop on a live stream and watch a show or watch a fest, I think there's definitely a market for that.
Oh, yeah.
I actually went and saw whenever Metallica was doing their in-theater thing, and I went and checked them out in theater because I wasn't about to pay. Gosh, man, I think those tickets were like $300 or $400 a piece at the time. And I was just like, golly, And I was really wanting to go to see Pantera anyway. Was kind of the main reason, but I decided because Metallica was doing the thing at the theater that I would check it out. And like you said, the production, if it's good, it's a good show still. And I mean, I was sitting down in a theater, so it was perfect for an old guy like me, Sitting in theater chairs, and every now and then going, yeah.
That's so funny because I was such a mosh pit guy growing up. I loved getting in the pit, and I loved crowd surfing. I crowd surfed the one time on the 200 Stab Wounds tour, and when I got put down, I was like, oh, it might have been a mistake. And then the last time Peeling Flesh sang with Sugabog, a Jesus Piece, was here in Houston. 600 people in a parking lot outside the End on a Friday night. And I go running up to the front because those are my homies, and I'm recording D. He's doing his thing on stage, and I didn't even see the guy coming. But this crowd surfer comes running across stage, dives right into me. I'm flat on my back, laid out, just like, oh, what happened? And I have it on video. It's fucking great. It's on my Instagram. But I was like, all right, man, I'm gonna have to be crossed arm guy in the back from now on.
You always say
old for this shit.
Yeah, the 40-year-old headbangers hanging out in the back, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll drink a beer and hang out with everybody else.
Oh, that's so great, man.
Yeah, I gotta wake up and work tomorrow. I'm not trying to hurt.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, dude, right. Exactly.
Yeah. Like we said, it's already hard enough to get out of bed.
Yeah.
It's no lie.
This has been an awesome interview, and just a really cool time to just sit and hang out and chat. We really appreciate you taking your evening and
absolutely
just chilling with us and talking to us about your world a little bit, and just giving everybody a peek inside of how you see and how you do things. There's probably a million other things that we could talk about, and I'm gonna have to sit down with you and do an entire episode about just bass.
Yeah, cool, man. I'm here for it. I had a good time, man. I enjoyed talking with you guys. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, any time, and definitely don't be shy if you're at a show I'm at, and that goes for everybody. Come up and say hi.
Yeah, guys,
Oh,
hear that? Everybody go say what's up, man. This is really cool. You know, it's the coolest thing
Fuck
about
yeah.
going to a metal show is a lot of times we're all just like hanging out afterwards, the fans and the
Yeah.
bands, you know, anybody who wants to just chill
Love
in the
it.
end, you know, they get to do that. So
That's one of the funnest things about the merch table too. They come over, they talk to you, you get to rap with them a little bit, you know. It's fucking cool, man. In the Brutal Death scene, the community is amazing. So it's I love it. I absolutely love it.
yeah, so if you guys hadn't got a chance to go see a Brutal show and Stabbing happens to be coming through, or when Architectural Genocide's doing some shows again,
Hell
go
yeah.
check them out, guys. I mean, good Brutal stuff, and like everything Matt said about the people, like if you hadn't been to a Brutal show, they would just love to see you there. And if you do go to a lot of Brutal shows, they're going to love to see you there. So
Hell yeah.
it's really cool. So go check them out, everybody. And, you know, we're going to keep putting out some good metal for everybody and just try to keep playing some good music. So keep rocking out. And, you know, I think that's about all we got. So,
Cool.
Matt, thanks again. Metal
Absolutely.
Block over and out.
Appreciate it.
All right,
Have a good
later,
one.
guys.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt.
Absolutely.